he came back to life. He came back to life. And then again, like after, I don't know, months or years, I don't know, it didn't really say. He
It doesn't say, yeah.
Anyway, so but then at the end when he said, "Oh, I want to go back to the Ganges." And then everybody was worried because the last time he almost gave his body up, gave up. And so, yeah, and he wanted to be massaged in the Ganges. And as they were massaging, they're noticing all these bubbles, white foam. And they're looking, and yeah, they're realizing that he was giving up, and it became so radiant, as he was giving up his body. A whirlpool, and his body became very golden and illuminated, and how they were crying, I was just like, oh my gosh, what a pure soul.
I was about to cry too when I was reading that.
Yeah, it just touched my heart, just the love that these disciples had for their guru, and how just beautiful a soul he is. Yeah.
Oh, he was amazing. And I'm reading about him again in the Prema Vilas.
How is that?
In the Prema Vilas. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good, actually. It's taking me longer, probably. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But what's a little bit different is it goes into great detail about Lokanath Swami, Lokanath, and how
his guru.
How he talked to him personally and gave him association to get him back to Godhead. He gave him that personal association and all the things he explained to him. This is what you must do. This is what you should not do. So all the things that our guru does, but doing it with him. And it was very, very amazing.
So it's Lokanath giving instruction to Narottam.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's, that's not the whole book, obviously, but one section of it. I think it was Srinivas, maybe that you were talking about, who became extremely close to Srila Narottam Das, because they explain it in this Prema Vilas that they became like the best of friends. And that they were ordered by Lord Chaitanya to go to Bengal. So I think they went together.
Yeah. Right, and then they separated, right? But so are we? I'm wondering what time it is right now.
It's time. Okay, let me see. Okay.
Okay.
I did not have time to go into any depth with this. I fell asleep this afternoon. I feel really bad. Hopefully, I'll just be able to explain and hopefully, okay? Okay, Marty says 10 minutes after 5, I think I should start the prayers. Dasya ganananjana shalakaya shakshuru militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha shri chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa kadamayam dadati svapadantikam vanchakalpat Sarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva, Narottamam, Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udirayat, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, Matajis, today I'm reading from, or we are reading from, Canto 4, Chapter 2, texts 28 through 30. Okay. Would anybody be interested in reading text 28? Okay.
Sure, Mataji, I can read, but I'll be reading from my phone. So,
Then I will read.
okay. So this is 4 to 28. Bhavavrita dharaye cha.
Chatan samanu bhavan. Hey, I'm reading. Who is this? Hello, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, this is Prema Rasa Devidasi. Please accept my humble obeisances. So,
Oh, that's
Mataji, you
I'm
can
sorry, I
continue
didn't
to read.
realize you
That's
were
fine.
on the phone.
Mataji, you can read. That's fine. I can read the next verse. So you can continue,
Oh, you
Mataji.
want? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mark. That's all right. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. All right. Satchastra Paripha translations and purports Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. One who takes a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva or who follows such principles will certainly become an atheist and be diverted from transcendental scriptural injunctions. Purport. It is sometimes seen that devotees of Lord Shiva imitate the characteristics of Lord Shiva. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison. So some of the followers of Lord Shiva imitate him and try to take intoxicants like ganja, marijuana. Here the curse is that if someone follows such principles, he must become an infidel and turn against the principles of Vedic regulation. It is said that such devotees of Lord Shiva will be Sachastra Paripantinaha, which means opposed to the conclusion of Shastra or scripture. This is confirmed in the Padma Purana also. Lord Shiva was ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to preach the impersonal or Mayavada philosophy for a particular purpose, just as Lord Buddha preached the philosophy of voidness for particular purposes mentioned in the Shastras. Sometimes it is necessary to preach a philosophical doctrine which is against the Vedic conclusion. In the Shiva Purana, it is stated that Lord Shiva said to Parvati that in the Kali Yuga, in the body of a Brahmana, he would preach the Mayavada philosophy. Thus, it is generally found that the worshippers of Lord Shiva are Mayavadi followers. Lord Shiva himself says, Mayavadam Asat Shastram. Asat Shastra, as explained here, means the doctrine of Mayavada impersonalism, or becoming one with the Supreme. Bhrigu Muni cursed that persons who worship Lord Shiva would become followers of this Mayavada Asat Shastra, which attempts to establish that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is impersonal. Besides that, among the worshippers of Lord Shiva, there is a section who live a devilish life. Srimad Bhagavatam and Narada Pancharatra are authorized scriptures that are considered Sat Shastra, or scriptures which lead one to the path of God realization. Asat Shastras are just the opposite.
I can read 29, Mataji. So, Nashta Saucha Mudhadhiyo Jata.
Sure, Premarasa Mataji.
Mataji, it looks like there is some time lag in the internet today for some reason. So I think there was a confusion in the previous verse, but you're all able to hear me, right? When I'm reading?
Oh, yes, Mataji.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So text 29. Nashta saucha mudhadhiyo jata bhasmasti dharinaha vishantu shiva dikshayam yatra daivam surasavam. Translation. Those who vow to worship Lord Shiva are so foolish that they imitate him by keeping long hair on their heads. When initiated into worship of Lord Shiva, they prefer to live on wine, flesh, and other such things. Purport. Indulging in wine and meat, keeping long hair on one's head, not bathing daily, and smoking ganja, marijuana are some of the habits which are accepted by foolish creatures who do not have regulative lives. By such behavior, one becomes devoid of transcendental knowledge. In the initiation into the Shiva mantra, there are Mudri Kashtaka, in which it is sometimes recommended that one make his sitting place on the vagina and thus desire nirvana or dissolution of existence. In this process of worship, wine is needed, or sometimes in place of wine, palm tree juice, which is converted into an intoxicant. This is also offered according to Shiva Agama, a scripture on the method of worshipping Lord Shiva. Thank you,
Very
Mataji.
good. Thank you. Would anybody like to read? I see that Dita Shanta is on the call. Would you?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam, all glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Please accept mine too. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, which one I have to read, you say?
It is chapter 2, text 30.
In my phone, I don't know, it's not moving. Chapter 2.
Okay. I guess that it's not working on Dita Shanta's phone.
Yeah, mine is not working, Mataji.
Is there anyone else?
I can read. Okay, text
Let's appear
30.
to read that particular text. Thank you, Manasi Gandama.
Okay. Text 30. Brahma cha brahmanam chaiva yadyoyam parinindata setan vidaranam pumsam atapasandam asritaha. Translation. Brig Muni continued, since you blaspheme the Vedas and the Brahmanas, who are followers of the Vedic principles, it is understood that you have already taken shelter of the doctrine of atheism. Purport. Brigmuni, in cursing Nandishvara, said that not only would they be degraded as atheists because of this curse, but they had already fallen to the standard of atheism because they had blasphemed the Vedas, which are the source of human civilization. Human civilization is based on the qualitative divisions of social order, namely the intelligent class, the martial class, the productive class, and the laborer class. The Vedas provide the right direction for advancing in spiritual cultivation and economic development and regulating the principles of sense gratification, so that ultimately one may be liberated from material contamination to his real state of spiritual identification, aham brahmasmi. As long as one is in the contamination of material existence, one changes bodies from the aquatics up to the position of Brahma, but the human form of life is the highest perfectional life in the material world. The Vedas give directions by which to elevate oneself in the next life. The Vedas are the mother for such instructions, and the Brahmanas, or persons who are in the knowledge of the Vedas, are the father. Thus, if one blasphemes the Vedas and Brahmanas, naturally one goes down to the status of atheism. The exact word used in Sanskrit is nastika, which refers to one who does not believe in the Vedas but manufactures some concocted system of religion. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that the followers of the Buddhist system of religion are Nastikas. In order to establish his doctrine of nonviolence, Lord Buddha flatly refused to believe in the Vedas. And thus, later on, Shankaracharya stopped this system of religion in India and forced it to go outside India. Here it is stated, Brahma cha Brahmanam. Brahma means the Vedas. Aham Brahmasmi means I am in full knowledge. The Vedic assertion is that one should think that he is Brahman, for actually he is Brahman. If Brahma or the Vedic spiritual science is condemned, and the masters of the spiritual science, the Brahmanas, are condemned, then where does human civilization stand? Brigmuni said, "It is not due to my cursing that you shall become atheists. You are already situated in the principles of atheism. Therefore, you are condemned." Hare Krishna. I cannot hear anybody. Are we still on the call?
Mataji, I'm hearing you in very badly. I think Leela Manjri had brought us back, off and then back on. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh, okay. I was the only one that stayed on then.
Yeah,
I can't hear you now. I don't know if I need to get off and on then. Okay, I'll do that too. Maybe that will help
Actually,
me.
I'm not able to hear also. Looks like there's been some problem with the internet today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not able to hear either. It's on and off. So I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can hear you perfectly now, though.
Hmm. Yeah, but I think it keeps coming and going because even Govardhan Leela Mataji's voice I hear sometimes, and then sometimes it's just like not there. So
I can't hear anybody.
Should I read it again? I don't know if you guys got off, or does someone else want to read it a second time?
Mataji, I could hear you actually
Oh,
the whole purport. Yeah, I don't know about others, but I was able to hear you through.
okay. Okay, I can't hear Govardhan Leela. I think she's the one that's giving class today.
Maybe we can
Okay, I'm
wait
gonna
and
try now.
Okay,
It kept,
perfect.
it kept going in and out. I'll try.
The,
Let's see how well it goes.
okay.
Just one moment. When I'm reading this, am I to understand, before I even start, that this Nandishvara is
That's money from Lisa's contacts, right?
Daksha's,
Calling money's mother from
wait a
Lisa.
minute.
I'm getting some weird transmissions. I'm hearing like radio or something. Oh, phone calls now.
Okay. Oh, I'm hearing telephones and everything. I don't know what's going on. Okay. This Nandishvara, was he one of the Brahmanas at the, oh boy.
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Govardhan
if you
Leela.
are not speaking, please mute your phone because you can hear me? Yeah.
I cannot hear anybody.
Can you hear me, Matajis?
I just
Oh,
heard
this is
one.
really a bad connection today, huh? Do you think maybe I should I go to my phone maybe?
I hearing clearly, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rohini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Very nice to
Krishna.
hear you.
I hearing no problem for me.
I can't hear anybody. It's all muffled.
I'm
You can
sorry, but
hear?
I hear
It
you.
must,
Yeah.
maybe then it's my tablet. You know what? Let me try to go to my phone.
Prem Rasa.
Yes,
Nothing.
माता जी.
तो क्या हो गया? सब लोग
अभी-
स्टॉप हो गए.
नहीं नहीं माता जी, वो आज गोवर्धन लीला माता जी का क्लास है, वो अपने फोन में फिर से लॉग इन होंगे. अभी वो कंप्यूटर से कर रहे थे. हाँ, तो सुना ही नहीं दे रहा था, तो इसलिए माता जी जाके अभी फिर से दूसरे वाले से लॉग इन. तो सब लोग वेट कर रहे हैं उनकी क्लास के लिए.
ओह अच्छा अच्छा.
हाँ यस माता जी.
ठीक है, मैं भी म्यूट में रखा है, इसके लिए बात नहीं हुआ नहीं. थैंक यू.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Govardhan Leela. Can you all hear me?
परफेक्ट माता जी.
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what is going on with the tablet, was just going in and out. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I couldn't hear a thing or do anything. Okay, so we are going through text 28. Now this Nandishvara, can someone tell me before I do this, is he part of Daksha's people?
He's Lord Shiva, माता जी.
Nandishvara?
Yeah, Nandishwara is Shiva's another name.
Okay, I see. All right. So Nandishvara, this was cursing and counter cursing that was going on in this chapter between Daksha and Lord Shiva. Daksha became, as we all know, very offended by Lord Shiva. And these three curses were inflicted, if you will. If they're not so obvious that is, wait just a moment. Is it not? Yeah. Daksha accepted the body as the all in all, and he would be cursed to have, because he was attached to sex life, he would have the face of a goat. That was one of the curses. And the others who were had materialistic education and intelligence, who are involved in fruitive activities, would continue in the cycle of birth and death, if I'm not mistaken. And yesterday we went over the three of them. But anyway, there are these three curses, and I forgot the third one here. Anyway, in text 28, if you took a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva, or if you were a follower of Lord Shiva.
I have a doubt. Does Lord Shiva curse? I think it's Nandi who curses Daksha. It is Nandi, not Lord Shiva.
Yes, it's Nandi.
Did I say that? Did I say that Lord Shiva cursed him?
Nandishvara curses does not mean Lord Shiva. It is Nandi who curses, not Lord Shiva.
That's what I thought. I was confused.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mataji. Actually, I did not hear the previous verses, so I did not say it properly then.
It says that when all the hereditary brahmanas were thus cursed by Nandishvara, the sage Brigu, as a reaction, condemned the followers of Lord Shiva with this very strong Brahminical curse. So there, yeah, this Nandishvara, I don't believe is Lord Shiva here. I didn't say anything because I personally don't know. It says the third curse inflicted by Nandishvara on the Brahmanas who supported Daksha is completely functioning in the age of Kali? I'm a little confused here myself, but let's get through this. In this particular text, anybody who worships Lord Shiva basically, or follows his principles, will become atheists or diverted from transcendental scriptural injunctions. I didn't know this about Lord Shiva, so you'll have to all help me afterwards. It says here that the devotees of Lord Shiva sometimes imitate his characteristics. For instance, he drank an ocean of poison, and some of his disciples then imitate him, and they take intoxicants like ganja. And so the curse is that if you follow these kinds of principles, you are turning against the principles of Vedic regulation, okay? And it's said that the followers of Lord Shiva are opposed to the conclusion of the Shastras, or what's written in the Vedas, and it's confirmed also in the Padma Purana. But Lord Shiva was ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to preach in the impersonal or Mayavada philosophy for a particular purpose. And we know that Lord Buddha was preaching the philosophy of voidness for a particular purpose, which was mentioned in the Shastras. And, you know, Lord Buddha was teaching that philosophy at that time to teach nonviolence and, you know, not to kill animals. I don't know the specific reason why the Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered Lord Shiva to teach them the impersonal or Mayavada philosophy. So maybe someone can enlighten me on that in the end. So it does say, Prabhupada says that sometimes it's necessary to preach a philosophical doctrine which is against the Vedic conclusion. So, you know, for different people, I guess at different levels of consciousness, but I don't know what the reason is specifically. In the Shiva Purana, it says that Lord Shiva said that, that he told Parvati that in Kali Yuga, he would preach the Mayavada philosophy in the body of a Brahmana. So it's generally understood that those who worship Lord Shiva are Mayavadi followers. Lord Shiva says it himself, that Mayavadam Asat Shastram. Asat Shastra, it means the doctrine of Mayavada impersonalism, which of course goes against the path of God realization, according to the scriptures. Now, Bhrigu Muni cursed that people who worshiped Shiva would become followers of the Mayavada Asat Shastra, which establishes that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is impersonal. Okay. And then there is like a sect of worshipers of Lord Shiva who live a devilish life. And the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Narad Pancharatra are authorized scriptures that are considered Sat Shastra. Yes. Or scriptures that lead to the path of God realization. The Asat Shastras are just the opposite. So the Asat Shastra is that which goes against the scriptures that lead to the path of God realization. Is there anyone who can tell me why the Lord would order Lord Shiva to preach the impersonal or Mayavada philosophy? It says it was done for a particular purpose, just like Lord Buddha preached the philosophy of voidness for particular purposes. I know it's been mentioned so many times about Lord Buddha in these Shastras, but I don't recall yet, or if it was mentioned, I don't remember why Lord Shiva was ordered to preach impersonal or Mayavada philosophy. So I'm asking that question. I'll just wait on that till the end, I guess, unless someone can. Okay. And now in the 29th text. Now I didn't know this. This is all new for me. That Lord Shiva keeps long hair, and so his followers did the same thing. And they, when they were initiated, they preferred to live on wine, flesh, and other such things. So we know, especially all of us, these go totally against the Vedic principles. They indulge in wine, and they eat meat. They wear their hair long. They don't bathe every day, which I didn't know, and they smoke marijuana. I've heard of some people doing such things in India, but I didn't know what sect they belonged to. And this is Prabhupada says these are foolish people who are don't have a regulated life. And if you are doing such things, you don't arrive at transcendental knowledge. And in the Shiva mantra, it's recommended that one make his sitting place on the vagina and thus desire nirvana, or dissolution of existence. I mean, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm getting the impression that maybe sex life would bring one to the state of nirvana. I'm not sure here. It just seems that way. And you can all correct me on that. So in this process of worship, you need wine or palm tree juice. They convert that into an intoxicant. So it sounds to me that this is like you become intoxicated and then you, I guess, have sex life. Sounds like it to me, and to reach this state of nirvana. And this is according to the Shiva Agama, which is the scripture on the method to worship Lord Shiva. And I guess I don't know about this because we are not obviously recommended to read this kind of scripture. So that's what I got in 30. Please correct me afterward because I'm not certain about that. And then Bhrigu Muni, of course, he was cursing Nandishvara, okay? So he says, since you're blaspheming the Vedas and the Brahmanas who follow the Vedic principles, you have already taken shelter of the doctrine of atheism. Okay, so he's like saying, I'm not even cursing you. You've already been cursed because you've already fallen into atheistic standards, and because you blaspheme the Vedas, which are the source of human civilization. And of course, we know the divisions of the social orders, which are the Brahmana class, the Kshatriya class, the Vaishya class, and the Shudra class. And the Vedas give the right direction for advancing in spiritual cultivation and regulating sense gratification so that you can become liberated from material contamination and understand your real position, okay, or who we really are spiritually instead of materially. And so as long as we are under the three modes of material nature, this contamination, which is the contamination of material existence, we have to keep changing bodies from the aquatics all the way up to the position of Lord Brahma. And we understand that the human form of life is the highest perfectional life in the world. And the Vedas tell us how to elevate ourselves in the next life. And the Vedas are the mother for such instructions. And the Brahmanas, who are in knowledge of the Vedas, they're the intelligent class, they are the father of the Vedas. So if you blaspheme the Vedas and the Brahmanas, then you're going to go down to, you're going to be reduced to the status of atheism. And here Prabhupada mentions the word in Sanskrit, Nastika, which is one who doesn't believe in the Vedas and manufactures some concocted system of religion. Well, I knew that, Buddhists are Nastikas. I knew that. The Buddhists definitely are impersonalists, and they refuse to believe in the Vedas. And then later on, Shankaracharya stopped this system of religion in India and forced it outside of India. And you could see the Buddhists all over outside of India. I mean, at least I know, like in China and Malaysia and different areas. I'm assuming even in like Nepal and outside of India, all over Southeast Asia. There are many, many, many Buddhists. I'm thinking Korea and Vietnam, etc. So, if Brahma means the Vedas, you should think that the Vedic assertion is that one should think that he's Brahman, for actually he is Brahman. If Brahma is condemned, and the Brahmanas are condemned, then where does human civilization stand? So Bhrigu Muni said, it's not due to my cursing that you shall become atheist. You are already situated in the principle of atheism, therefore you are condemned. So I guess that would be my question is, why Lord Shiva was ordered by Krishna to preach impersonalism, and also my trying to understand this verse in 29, which is I'm thinking the way to attain nirvana according to the method of worshiping Lord Shiva. So that would be my question.
Mataji, I think we missed the previous verses, all of us. So actually, Antaranga Seva Mataji, she pointed out that Nandishvara is actually Nandi, not Shiva. So like in the previous verses, I just thought that I will read a few translations. So like whatever we have missed, it will be easy for us to kind of catch up with the flow of the chapter. So here. So actually what happens is that when Daksha comes to the arena of sacrifice, there are a lot of other respectable sages and other people who are in the assembly. But of all the people, like he is received and given respect by all the sages and Lord Brahma and everybody. But Shiva is the only one who Daksha feels has not given him enough respect. Like he's sitting, everybody else stands up, and then they are like inviting him, but Shiva is the only person who doesn't do it. So Daksha is offended, and then he curses Lord Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
So he says that he's saying that I never wanted my daughter to get married to him, but because of the request of Lord Brahma, so then I gave my daughter in marriage.
Yes.
So
This we understood, yes, but the
yeah.
rest,
Yeah. So then he says that okay, let's see. So the next verses he says that so Daksha's curses, the demigods are eligible to share in oblations of sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all demigods, should not have any share. So that was Daksha's curse. And then he leaves the arena. Then Vidura is like Maitreya is telling Vidura that in spite of the request of all the members of the sacrificial assembly, Daksha in anger cursed Lord Shiva and then left the assembly and went back to his home. Now, upon understanding that Lord Shiva has been cursed, Nandishvara, one of Lord Shiva's principal associates, became greatly angry. His eyes became red and he prepared to curse Daksha and all the Brahmanas present there who had tolerated Daksha's cursing Shiva in harsh words. So basically, although Lord Shiva was cursed, his principal associate, who is Nandishvara, he actually curses Daksha. And we read those curses yesterday. Those 24, 25, those verses, that was from yesterday. So
Nandishvara is an associate of Lord Shiva.
Yes. Yeah.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, Antaranga Seva Mataji, do you want to add anything to? Because I know that you have read these sections before. Like I'm reading for the first time. So anything you'd like to add?
No, Mataji, that's what I was saying, that it is Nandi who curses, not Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva doesn't even care about Daksha, whatever Daksha curses.
Okay. Thank you for correcting us. So,
Govardhan Leela Mataji is asking a question. Why Shankaracharya preached Mayavad?
Yeah, you can share, Mataji.
Mataji, I know very little. I don't know if it is even correct, but I'll share whatever I heard. Like she said that Buddhism, like Lord Buddha came and preached that Buddhism, that is Shunyavad, and then he just said that ignore the Vedas, forget the Vedas. So that was everywhere that Shunyavad was being preached, that there is no soul, forget the Lord, there is no soul, there is no Lord. We come from all these 5 elements and our body then dissolves in all these 5 elements. So from there, to take them to a higher level, Shankaracharya came and he preached Mayavad, that no, there is a soul, there is a supreme Lord, and then the Mayavadis, they want to merge in the Lord. So that is also actually a sense gratification only, like sense gratification. So, but it was a higher level than Buddhism. So after my Shankaracharya, I think it was Ramanujacharya and then Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya preached that there is the soul, there is the Lord, and there is the difference between the soul and the Lord. We are the servants and he is the supreme Lord. And we are supposed to eternally serve the Lord. This is what I know, Mataji. You can correct me.
Thank you so much for sharing, Mataji. I also don't know much, but of what you know, that's all I know also. So, Govardhan Leela Mataji, was it helpful?
Yes. So, but I just, so I guess these were just different levels of elevation. In other words, the Lord said, okay, we need this philosophy is for people who want to merge with the Lord, right? Want to merge into the impersonal Brahmajyoti.
Yeah, impersonalism
Correct?
is actually impersonalism. That's what it means, to merge. But actually, the thing that she is speaking about is that what happened was that, like we also read previously, like most of the Brahmanas became contaminated, and then what happens is that um, people start to do too many sacrifices of animals, and they start to kill, like lot of animal slaughter, and all of those were happening because they said that it is based on the Vedas. So like basically they were misusing the Vedas. So what happened is that Lord Buddha came, and then he said that just disregard the Vedas. And then he says that, so and then he preaches and says voidism is basically like there is nothing, like people go into nothing after this life, there is nothing. That's what they say.
Right.
So then what
Well,
happens is that Krishna had to again re-establish the fact that we are not this body, we are the soul, and then soul has a next body, and then people have to prepare for that. So for that to happen, if this just started to say that um, I, from the place that there is nothing to, oh, there is Krishna and we need to have a relationship with him, it was too much apart. Like it was not like from grade 1 to grade 4 or grade 5 or grade 6, something like that. Like in between he needed something to re-establish the fact that we are the soul, and then the soul has a journey after this life. So that's what he kind of establishes, saying that actually we are the soul. So after this life we will all go and merge into something. And then so it was more like a gradual progression of consciousness from where the people were in that time and place to the next level. And then eventually it slowly evolved to what we follow is, Mataji was speaking about Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya spoke about that achintya bheda. Like basically, like no, we have qualitative oneness with Krishna, but then we are qualitatively very less. So it's our position to serve him. So that's what he preached.
That makes sense as to why it was done that way. Yeah, I see that. You need it. Yeah, it's different gradations or levels of consciousness. This went over a long period of time, I'm sure. It wasn't something that happened overnight. And this other question, I'm not quite sure, but it seems like it would be fitting for this purport in text 29 about the making his sitting place on the vagina and thus desire nirvana. Is this about sex life to reach nirvana, or this? I'm not sure.
Mataji, I have
like
absolutely no idea of why. When I read the purport, I felt the same thing. Like it came as a surprise to me. I don't know. Maybe anybody else on the call can speak if they have more knowledge. I don't know. I just know that there was recently some spiritual practitioner, but I think he was eventually put in jail because he was preaching something like this, that have as much sex as you want, because eventually you will come out of it. That means it's basically like you have some aversion. If you keep eating ice cream every day, then after a point in time, then you don't feel like eating ice cream anymore, no matter how good it might be. So that's what that spiritualist he used to preach, saying that just have sex. And then in his ashram, that's what people used to go and do. And then eventually they found out that he was just bluffing, so he was put in jail. But I don't know if he was following what is said here or it's different. I have no idea. So maybe somebody else who knows can share more.
Hare Krishna. Is anybody else on the call anymore?
It looks like most of us are still on the line. If we look under
Okay.
participants.
You know, it's very funny to me as I'm reading this, Mataji, that, okay, Lord Shiva would not go along with Daksha. And then it almost seemed like a contradiction. And that happens a lot in the Vedas where you think it's one thing and then it sounds like something else. Because he was saying that he had all the great qualities. Lord Shiva was, where did they say? He was just this elevated, trying to remember where exactly it said this. You know, like Daksha was so angry, he cursed Shiva, who was all goodness. You know, he was, I don't know if it was all goodness, but I'm trying to remember the exact words. I'm looking for it. But anyway, that basically, that Lord Shiva was, you know, a very good person. He was, one of the best. That Daksha was jealous of him or envious of him, and then we get this here where we find out that Lord Shiva, those who worship Lord Shiva, are basically atheists. Just seems like a contradiction, but maybe not. Maybe the practice of Lord Shiva was atheistic or Mayavada, but he still had a very, very high position, and I'm not quite sure here. It just seemed like it was one thing was contradicting itself. They were speaking very highly of Lord Shiva at first, and now we're saying he's an atheist.
Mataji, actually, he is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. There is no doubt about it. But he was given that kind of a service to do, where he was supposed to, where he was supposed to actually come and then preach impersonalism. So he was actually performing a service. But he is a great devotee of Krishna. He has a very special position, actually. So, yeah. So,
but now I'm understanding. I think there are some people that have come on this call or who get on this call regularly who are worshipers of Lord Shiva. And so I just, I wish they were on the phone today. They could explain to me what this nirvana thing is in text 29. But it makes more sense to me why I think that the worshipers of Lord Shiva are more Mayavada. They're more impersonal in their philosophy. There's no doubt about it. Even today, there are many worshipers of Lord Shiva. So
which verse are we giving? Where did you read it?
Excuse me? Is that Ruchi Mataji?
Yeah, can you tell me which verse you're reading and where did you read it? Because I took some medicine and I slept, so I got up late, so I don't know where you are and where you read it.
I'm in text 29, Mataji, chapter 2. This is about Lord Shiva and his followers. Indulging in wine and meat, keeping long hair on one's head, not bathing daily, and smoking ganja are some of the habits which are accepted by foolish creatures who do not have regulated lives. By such behavior, one becomes devoid of transcendental knowledge. In the initiation into the Shiva mantra, there are mudrikastakas, in which it is sometimes recommended that one make his sitting place on the vagina and thus desire nirvana or dissolution of existence. In that process of worship, wine is needed, or sometimes in place of wine, palm tree juice, which is converted into an intoxicant. This is also offered according to Shiva Agama, a scripture on the method of worshiping Lord Shiva.
Let me find it. I'm trying to find it. Text 29, chapter 2, correct? Text 28.
Yes.
Oh,
Mataji, what I feel, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, like what I feel is that this was also like what Premrasa Mataji was saying, that it was a service given to Lord Shiva, because there are many people. Actually, in Gita, Lord Krishna has said that religion and faith are also in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, what we are doing in Krishna consciousness is in the mode of goodness. That is, we have to be very clean and we have to follow the regulations and etc. etc. And there are
Yes.
many people who cannot do that. And to keep them separate so that they don't disturb the actual path of bhakti, Lord Shiva is actually a very great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So he just comes and it is also his compassion, because those who are following him, they just cannot go on the path of goodness. They cannot follow those four regulative principles. They cannot be clean because they are not of that level. So then, to show
Oh, yes.
some compassion, Lord Shiva accepts them. So he accepts demons, he accepts ghosts, he accepts spirits. But then those who follow him, they actually don't understand him, and they think that okay, he has long hair, let us keep long hair. And because he drank the poison that came from the milk ocean, they also try to imitate him wrongly, and they do all these intoxications and meat eating, and they don't have that level, so obviously they indulge in sex life also in the name of Shiva. So that is
Yes.
worship in mode of ignorance totally. So, and to keep such people away from the main track of bhakti that is being done. So those who are following Shiva, Lord Shiva, are not real. That is why they are called as atheists, because they don't want to follow Lord Vishnu. They do not want to accept that there is a supreme Lord, and to we have to have some regulations, etc. They don't want to do it. So
that's
just to sideline them, they just follow Lord Shiva and they do whatever they want to do. And Lord Shiva is compassionate that he actually takes them. That is his compassion actually. He is the biggest devotee of Lord Vishnu, and all he does is sit and meditate on Vishnu. But they don't follow that. They follow all other things except that.
Yes.
So for
No, I did
devotees,
understand that.
yeah. So for devotees, we don't have to dwell into this too much. We know that it is in mode of ignorance. Even Lord, if you see all the demons, they will worship Lord Brahma, or they worship Lord Shiva to gain something, but they'll never go to Lord Vishnu. They'll always think that Vishnu is their enemy. So then someone has to be compassionate on them also. So that service Lord Shiva is doing. That's all. For devotees, that is, we have nothing to do with that. Lord Shiva
Of
is,
course.
yeah, we have a lot of respect for Lord Shiva, because he's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam as the highest devotee of Lord Vishnu. So he's just doing his service.
Thank you
No,
for
I
this explanation. But like, yes, that is one way of look. Yeah, I mean, that is also true. But according to like everybody has their perspective. So according to me, since he resides in the Shamshan, which means he is beyond the body. When a person is leaving the body, he is not he is so detached. Lord Shiva is so detached from the bodily concept of life. that it means that that might be a test of their faith, that even if a person is like so closely engrossed in the sexual senses or whatever, like how it is written over here, still that person knows that this is just the body, and that person is so detached from knowing that this body is going to turn into dust, because they smear it all over the body, which is like which is like smear which is like a representative of the fact that this body is going to be dust soon. Like people say, why they smear Lord Shiva's devotees smear dust all over their body and the ash all over their body, which he does too, because it's a constant reminder for them. That's why they are not supposed to be, I mean, they are not required to be very clean or anything, because they have surpassed that stage of bodily like being in the body, thinking of identifying oneself with the body. And so like my understanding it, so these are just a tests that even if a person is like so close to like uh, 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 in the case of like what you call a sexual or whatever place, but that person still won't be one bit affected by it. That has been proved many times in the Vedic stories, that Shiva is the biggest renunciate. And so, like in Varanasi, when one goes, you can see on the ghats, on the cremation grounds, all these aghoris who are worshipping Lord Shiva, because they have moved beyond the concept of the body. And for them, being near in like the so close to a woman or sexual whatever, it really doesn't matter to them, because you see they don't wear, sometimes the Naga sadhus, they don't even wear clothes. They are like, they have totally left the concept of body. So he's beyond all that. He they That's why they take all this ganja and all this intoxicants, so that they can be in another level of samadhi, where they don't have to be in the in this world. They are not of this world. They have already surpassed this world of bodily what should I say, bodily being, and they've gone to another state. They know that this body is like not of any use, and it's just to they are just inculcating their level of samadhi, so they are always in a trance, something like that. That's my understanding.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Mataji's, we've gone over, and I appreciate everybody explaining this for me, because, yeah, this is new to me, and it's not new. I mean, I understood when this concept of impersonalism, but I needed to understand why the Lord had ordered Lord Shiva to do that. But and I wasn't saying in the 29 that I didn't understand what they do. What I didn't understand was I was just trying to understand Prabhupada in that one section. I thought he was talking about sex life there, and I wasn't sure. But yeah, this now is making more sense to me. I may have to ask 4 or 5 times, because, in future texts, because I'm not always familiar with all of this. I wasn't brought up with people who practice these things, so I have to learn from all of you. Okay, so now it's starting to make sense more and more. I appreciate all of you clarifying all of this for me. And
yeah, like even in Buddha Lama religion, they actually eat the dead body, and they are like always in a in samadhi, or always meditating, even in the Buddhist religion, because their main focus is also on like not being attached to the body at all, like giving up. That's why it says nirvana, which is beyond the realm of the senses,
yes,
beyond the realm of the body.
Okay, I'm sorry, but we have to end. I would love to keep this going, but it's been going for an extra 16 minutes, and I think we should keep to our schedule. But I appreciate so much these explanations. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.